Welcome to Grown Folk Talking. Express yourself. The podcast will begin momentarily.
Please announce yourself.
Is my money and my clothes. Me but you.
Yes, indeed. Extra hard in the building. That's right. Loud and clear. FloFokuz is here.
Way to up, like the mini diamond on the way I keep them. Yeah, I'm the big babe, long way, big braids on my way to you. Big stop, big time, I got like PC, this is pretty strong down. Shout out, big this, my most strong down. Send me to the trip spot, where I thank you your product, and they gave you my number.
Boy, me but you. See your face. Me but you. I want something more, and maybe that's
Once again, welcome Friday, my friends. It's cool to talk. You got the Xtra-Hype Connection podcast right here on the Grown Folk Talking Express Yourself Network. We got just a couple of more songs. We're going to get into it tonight. That's right. But for now, check it out. Who is it? Yeah? You know?
we're all around the globe. And I'm all right, she's gone, and she's all right. Let it go. I say, what's up with you? You feeling good? We feel it too. We're gonna mess now, step with this groove. I step on one, you step on two. You know when we move, we're feeling the vibe, right? And if we move, we're making a vibe, right? And if it's day or if it is night, we're feeling alright. So we be alright. What you let your body go. Feeling me inside you. Let your body. One more time, say you. Let your body. I'm feeling inside you. We go and we're all around the door. And I'm all right. She's gone and she's all right. Sending them low, low tree. All right. I'm low and I'm all right. She's gone and she's all right. Sending them low. I heard it first too, so I'll bring it back again just to let you know exactly what is happening. I see your blood in your head, like it's a Q-tip flip. Yo, you haven't heard a word about the flow tree. Flowism, flow tree, it's flow with it. Once you have heard it, you have to get it. So you could say it, or you could play it. You could play it, yeah, you could play it. Inside you, yeah, let it inside you. Let your body move inside you. What's it? Do it. No train and all right. I'm the low and I'm all right. It's so slow and it's all right. Yeah, letting them go. Yeah, all right. No train. I'm all right. I'm the low. All right. It's so slow. Yeah, letting them go. It's so slow. I say that's what's up.
Yeah. That's what's up. You're with us right here on the Xtra-Hype Connection podcast. Host Marcus, FloFokuz. Yes. Friday night. Cool to talk. We do it more than all right.
Now we be feeling alright. We be feeling alright. Yeah, we feeling alright. We doing alright. Yo, you see, I'm getting it in. I said I'm getting it in.
Right, get it in. And one more song, and we're gonna begin. That's right. All right. You already know how we do, what we do, the way we do. Right here, and we bring it and package it just for you. So, one more. Hang with me, one more, and then we got something real special tonight in store. We're going to cut to the heart of the matter tonight, but before then, I want you all to know we can win. We will win. I want us, if we realize it, who we are and what we have been entrusted with. Distractions aside. Taking a walk on the wild side.
We will be better than those. Made a promise we can do it together. And they ain't breaking my words. I just wish that I could fly like a bird. You don't wait for me there. Had a pray, felt that was cursed. I always tell myself it could have been worse. Never going back, I broke the reverse. It comes from my soul, don't need to rehearse. A lot of time I was in need of work. Talk to God like I needed to work. Jumped the line like I needed it first. But I was being selfish. Notice don't affect a lot of people. I was being careless. Took a break and stepped away. I'm coming back when I get better. I know this breaks people into pieces, but I ain't gonna let it. You're crazy from this one. Hey. All the captains out there feel so good. Hey, I said it feels so good. We will. With this break, make me better. I believe that. If you together. Striving for greatness, at the same time keeping my patience. Can't be racist to nobody grave. I'm cool with just faces. I can drop at any given time. I'm holding my aces. I think disappointment all in their faces. It's hard to deal across the finish line. We done break the bar so many times. It's only right they give it time. I'm by myself together, we really shine. As long as I keep putting my faith and trust in God, I know that everything will be fine. Feel for a real step, though God ain't never breaking my head. I believe I can do anything, ain't never changing my mind. Like it's all about patience, take it one day at a time. Like it's all about patience, take it one day at a time.
Listen up. You gotta know that. Believe that. Now run with it. We will. That's right, we win. We always win. And now, let the podcast begin. I want to give a shout out to some local businesses that love and support this podcast. We got Kodos Restaurant, 16 Clinton Street, Brick City, North New Jersey. Magnificent cuisine, some of the best you'll taste and have ever seen. Let them know you heard about them on the podcast right here with us. Also, we got the Fruit House at 764 Broad Street, North New Jersey, for your spices, your herbs, your fresh squeezed juices, your smoothies, your sea moss, and a whole lot more at a lower cost. We got Halsey News, 2 Prudential Drive, North New Jersey. Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. Say hello to Shahida. Also, get your cake slices. This week, guess what? She had yellow cake, chocolate frosting, strawberry crunch, cheesecake cups. OMG. She's going to definitely have more in store for you next week. Why don't you stop by and see Shahida at Halsey News 2 Prudential Drive. And also, my friends, there's some websites that I want to let you know about that I think you should visit and support as well. You got liquidmana.com. That's right, liquidmana.com. They've got oxygenated water. That's right, and other products that have a high concentration of oxygen to fight oxidation and oxidative stress in your body. And guess what? Put it to the test. I've done this myself. I've bitten an apple. I've left it exposed. I've taken some of that liquid mana, poured it on there, and guess what it showed? Didn't turn brown because that oxygen fought back the oxidation, the bacteria, all of that stuff. Made basically an oxygen shield over it like a Band-Aid, kept it fresh. I said, look at that. What do you want to see? Guess. LiquidMana.com. Make sure you check them out. Once again, I want to let everybody know that these are not sponsored things. These are just websites that I just love, and I'm bringing you the content and the information regarding them. So liquidmana.com. You also got networkingforsuccess.info. A lot of good information there. You got to check it out. Also, /Fluvology -360. networkingforsuccess.info. You got to check out that page. That is our thank you and our gift page. Just because you came here with us and you showed up, click on the link at the top so that you know what we can give to you. We can give you some of our offerings, some things that I know you're going to like. Yes, our gift page for you at networkingforsuccess.info /Fluvology-360. Also now, my friends, check out PrologicStrategies.com. My man FloFokuz, the engineer, rap mogul, that's right, musician and entertainer extraordinaire, artist, music developer, talent coach, as well as entrepreneur. PrologicStrategies.com. You got to see what else he has in store. Put a / and type in the word news. Check out all the upcoming events, our podcast, our venues that we are going to be live at coming up very soon, and all the other intricate details of other groups and artists, associations that we have basically connected with to create an Xtra-Hype connection with. I tell you, we got some great things coming up. You want to definitely become a member at the website PrologicStrategies.com. Okay? Check out FloFokuz there and become a member. Sign up today and you get some bonuses for our upcoming Flip Side Friday events, my friends. That's right. So check them out there. PrologicStrategies.com and put a / and type the word news. And finally, we've got BearCatBody.com. The lovely proprietor, Leslie Wright. I'll tell you, she's got some stuff on that website that is out of sight for your whole body experience. She's got stuff for your eyes, for your eye health, stuff for your dental. I just basically have been using a paste that she has created, which has all natural ingredients, no fluoride, no preservatives, no chemicals, nothing to harm you. It actually works very well. I've been brushing my teeth with it. And you know what? I fell in love with the taste of my own mouth. I'm telling you. I said, hey, nobody else can have any access to my mouth and enjoy it but me. No, that's it. Because I've been using this natural paste made basically by Miss Wright, and it's posted on BearCatBody.com. I tell you, this stuff works wonders for your teeth, your gums, your tongue. It helps to enhance the health, your dental health, and the taste of it. I tell you, it's like no other. So check it out, bearcatbody.com. Also, she's got body butters. She's also got exfoliating scrubs. Yes, I have been using some of those as well. She's got moisturizers. I'm telling you, these things are phenomenal. The fragrance, the aroma of them, the way that they make your skin feel. And guess what? All of these products can be used all over on the body. The scrubs can be used for your scalp as well as the moisturizers. I'm telling you, you really, really got to check her out over there at bearcatbody.com. If anybody has not received the notices, the notifications of these specific businesses that show this podcast, love and support, as well as the links that I just told you about before our podcast is tonight, please shout out. Please shout out. We'll recognize you. I'll make sure we get a chance to recognize you. We'll make sure that it's orderly and that we get information to you, okay? But in the meantime, for all of our new listeners, we want to welcome you to the podcast. Our returning listeners, thank you for returning. We love you. You're faithful with us. We're faithful to you, and there's nothing that any of you can do about it. That's right. And for those of you who need to get the notifications, the number that you can text the words "notify me" and your name to 732-362-1729. Once again, gonna give it out again. Text the words "notify me" and your name to 732-362-1729. And we'll make sure that you're on our notification list for all of our upcoming podcasts and live in-person events, as well as our upcoming panels. All right, everybody. And without further ado, we want to welcome you to the podcast tonight, Xtra-Hype Connection. That's right. Man, FloFokuz is in the building. We thank you all for joining us here on a Friday. You could have been anywhere, but you're right here with us, and we most certainly appreciate you. Also, for those of you who have been inviting, we appreciate you for reaching out as well. We acknowledge you. And for those new listeners on with us, we are thankful and grateful to have you with us here on the podcast. We most certainly hope that you will return and that you will continue to join us on Mondays and Fridays, 6 p.m., right here for the Xtra-Hype Connection on the Grown Folk Talk and Express Yourself Network. And right now, without further ado, let's get right into it, my friends. What do you say? What do you say? All right. Let's do it today. All right. Now, I sent out the notification. I sent out tonight's podcast topic, which has to do with stewardship, and the rights that go with stewardship. Now, let me say something about this. A lot of people have goals, have purposes, have pursuits, have things that they would just love to be involved in and things that they would love to do. And there is nothing wrong with having goals. There's nothing wrong with having plans, purposes, pursuits, so that you can come to, some place where you have arrived, where you wanted to be. There is nothing wrong with that at all. But what I'm going to offer here tonight is something to give a perspective to everything. And that perspective is this. There is one core principle, and that core principle that we all are expected to operate at is the core principle of stewardship. Now, let me explain this as well before we get started here. This is not anything to do with a religious sect, a religious practice, or anything of that nature. These are reference points for a beginning, an inception. What was bestowed upon us as men and women from our inception and then carried from generation to generation and expected to continue on in order to operate in a powerful position to give that power to those things that we pursue and purpose to achieve. And when we are not operating in that power, either due to the fact that we are unaware of the path to take to operate in that power, or whether we are distracted and pulled away from our purpose and plan for our own selfish pursuits, then we are derailed. Then we are not operating in a leveled up capacity as the Saiyans that we are. Now, let's get back to it. Now, core principles, stewardship. There are 6 principles that I sent out, and I hope that everybody got them, because it may be a good idea to remind ourselves of what we forgot or what we were unaware of. And this has a lot to do with what we are dealing with today, individually and collectively. When we forget from where we came and from what we were bestowed with in order to function on the plane where we are, we have a bit of a conundrum. We have an off-center perspective and perception of what our purpose is, what is our purposely driven pursuit. Because first and foremost, we are flesh and blood. And even beyond flesh and blood, we are energy. We are ether. And as those type of beings, we could not experience the sensations that we experience on this plane without a flesh and blood suit to do it with. Because this suit that we're wearing allows us to experience sensation in a way that we're unable to in an ethereal form. And the gift that was given to us was that we could come from the collective to this plane to put on a sensational feeling suit so that we could experience something else that we could only have a knowledge base about, but not a sensory perception about. So we experience temperature, we experience heat on a summer day, we experience cold on one of those winter days, we experience snow, the beauty of it, the feel of it. We experience warm, breezy days. in the spring, the rain that comes down. We experience the colors of autumn and the aroma of new air coming in. And this was a gift given to us by the one, the architect, the creator, supreme being, God, however you refer to the one who created all that we know. This was a gift. This, our bodies, are the gift that we were given. And it comes with so many functional parts, so many ways that it compensates when needed until we can recalibrate. But also with this body and this mind, this brain that we have, which has already downloaded all of our knowledge base and our ability to learn, to adapt, to reason, and so much more. We were named, given the title of stewards, if you will, trustees. Trustees. Over what? One of the greatest things that we could ever be entrusted with, a whole planet. Think about that for a second. We were entrusted with the creation of a whole entire planet and placed here and told, this is your home. Everything you see here, you have responsibility and an obligation to, because you're here, it's yours. This is where you get to walk around. You get to stay here. And this will accommodate you for generations and generations and generations to come, because this planet is alive. It's life all through this planet. It is, in a sense, living and sentient as well. It may communicate that in different ways, and let's uncover that for a moment, and let's just kind of be where the rubber meets the road. The raindrops that come out of the sky, don't they feel like sprinkles? Don't they remind you of when tears fall from your eyes, down your face, and off the side of your chin? Doesn't it remind you when sweat beads down your skin because you're working very hard, you're working out, you're running, you're exercising, whatever it may be, you might be detoxing, but doesn't it kind of remind you of that? The rain that just comes out of the sky, maybe from a sprinkler system that waters the lawn and waters the grass and waters the tree. This comes from the clouds. It's already set up. It's already there. We didn't put it there, but it's already there. What about when the ground shakes? You know those things they call tremors. Doesn't that kind of remind you of when you wake up in the morning and you stretch your body and you stretch so much that your body begins to shake? Tremors. Or when you shrug your shoulders to loosen up your traps. Your shoulders, the back of your neck to release that tension. And you just feel the shimmy in your shoulders. Don't the tremors on the ground kind of mimic that? Just a shake. What about the winds? Hurricane force winds, gale winds, they blow things to and fro, pick up trees. Some of them pick up bushes. Yeah, they get blown around. Paper. Don't see any birds in that because they know better. They out. They know they ain't flying through that. And most animals, they running for shelter. I think some of us are the only ones that want to stay out in that stuff, kind of reporting live and all that other stuff. But don't those gale force winds kind of remind you of when you inhale and exhale really hard? Recalibrating your system, resetting your lungs, clearing out your nasal passages, your ears. All of these things that we experience here and many more all have a little something to do with us. Because this planet is living, it's alive. It has trees that grow up that clean the air. Yeah, they do. They have chlorophyll, which is also very healthy for us, as well as other life. And bark, which can be used for many different things. There are also other life forms as well. And did you know that trees are conductors of electricity? Trees conduct electrical charges. It's been proven. I kid you not. I'll prove it to you right now. You can find this on YouTube. Type in for a search if you want to. Electrical charges of power from trees. You'll see where people have taken cables, copper cables, and maybe they have taken the bark off of a part of the tree and taken these cables and put these cables around that tree so that the ends of the cables are free. And they've hooked them up to devices such as light fixtures. One wire on each end, screwed in a bulb lit up. They've taken power tools, done it as well. There's a charger there. You can plug into it. They plug the cord from the power tool into the charging, what do they call that? Surge protectors. And expose the parts where they need to actually have power go to from the trees and added leads. Click that switch on, it turned red. Took that power tool, turned it on, it worked. They've charged car batteries. They've powered small refrigerators. Because trees are conductors of electricity. Where is that electricity coming from? The ground that their roots are in. Don't we also have electrical charges in our bodies? And weren't we made from the same clay and dust that is settled in the ground? Isn't it kind of amazing how the very same thing that we have in us, we find here on the planet? It's because we're living and this planet is living. And we are stewards of this planet. And as stewards of this planet, we have certain responsibilities. But before I get to those responsibilities, I want to say this. Responsibility is a big deal, especially when it is granted with a grant of something great and expansive. For example, something that sustains us as a species and many others. Our environment. All right. Responsibility. As trustees of this planet, we are charged with the maintenance, we are charged with the upkeep, we are charged with the protection of this planet. Why? Because it's our only home. This planet was created for us to be on. That is why we are here. Not on some other planet, and not that we took a ship and went to some other planet. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. We're born here for a reason. Right here. The gravity is just right. The pull of the planet is just right. The atmosphere, the environment, everything is just right. Everything is here. And in order for us to continue as a species, we really have to take it into consideration that, well, we got to have a place to be. And the place that we are at, where is our place to be, our environment, has to have a good atmosphere, air that we can breathe. Has to have water that is not tainted with chemicals and toxins and waste that we can drink and that we can bathe in and that we can use for other purposeful things to maintain, sustain, and create perpetual life. And other things as well. Now, if our responsibility is to make sure that our environment, our home is maintained so that we can pass it on to future generations, so that we can maintain, we can thrive, we can survive, we can live, we can have purposeful lives. What have we done when we have been allowed to be distracted from that purpose and make our new purpose something of a selfish pursuit only? Power, riches, assets, spotlight, vanity. Everything is vanity. Vanity of vanities. Nothing is new under the sun. Which tells us that this has been a vicious cycle. It has repeated itself more than one time, more than two times. When we can't get along, when we're collectively clashing, and it's chaotic, and there is no equality or no neutrality, where there's a balance And we try to correct this particular thing with a purpose other than that of what we have been entrusted with as stewards over this whole entire planet and its resources, and every living creature along with ourselves, then we have just lost our way. We've fallen into a game, and that game is the land of make-believe, which really only exists in imagery and intellectual-based ideas. It's not the genuine article, it's an overlay. Just like a carpet is to a hardwood floor. The floor is the foundation that holds the weight of everything on it. They're pretty amazing. You can put refrigerators and stoves. You can put counters. You can put sinks and plumbing. You can put washing machines and dryers, deep freezers. You can put clothing. You can put furniture. You put all of this on these floors, and they hold everything up. That's the foundation of power, my friends. That is true power. The responsibility of support is to the fore. It is the foundation, or at least one of them, that we stand on, we walk on, we jump on, we dance on, we move on. And it's always there to support it. Why? Because that is the power that it represents. It holds the weight. The activity, the vibration, no matter what, doesn't take a day off. Because in order for us not to fall through, that floor has to be strong. It has to be resourceful. It has to be resilient. Just like the power that we were given when we were put here. But when our focus, when our line of sight becomes divided, it's no longer like an arrowhead point that will go through a bag of cement or a bag of sand or even through some trees, some walls. We become divided. An arrowhead divided is good for nothing. It affects nothing. It changes nothing. It is stopped by just about everything. Its original purpose is to glide straight through. But with that arrowhead divided, doesn't do that anymore. Divided from what? Original intent. People are up here fighting with one another every single day. I'll get right to you, Xtra-Hype. One moment. Fighting every single day. And what are we fighting about? Class systems, caste systems, finances, haves and have-nots. Who's entitled to this? Who's entitled over there? What are we supposed to do? Why aren't we doing this? How come these people don't have this right? Why don't these people have that right? But in the meantime, we're not looking at the fact that the freaking Hudson River is green like antifreeze. It's got toxic waste that is sludge and that is putrid poured into it all the time. You've got aquatic creatures that we're responsible for that are washing up on shores. Whales, sharks, dolphins, other aquatic life washing up on the beaches because the environment that we were supposed to take care of, that we are stewards of it over, we're not looking at that. Everything has now been inwardly pointed to us, ourselves, our own selfish pursuits at all times. But if we were to look at our original purpose and original intent as to why were we put here and what is our purpose, then we could actually walk in the power to achieve that which we pursue. Xtra-Hype, you got the floor, brother.
Wow, I just want to say you're making great analogies here, and especially with the arrow analogy, it started making me think like you're saying, oh, an arrowhead separated from the shaft, also separated from the wings that guide it. An arrow is it's a tool. It's fully formed to perform a task. Now, maybe once upon a time it didn't have a separated arrowhead. It was just the shaft sharpened, and maybe even it didn't have wings, but it had to be bigger. But we call that a javelin or a spear, you know? And then we reiterate on that tool. If you take and put the arrowhead sideways on the stick, it's an axe. You know what I mean? The orientation, the size, the shape, right? You spin the arrowhead around instead of hitting the sharp side, you hit it with the back side. It's a hammer. Instead of it being an axe on one side, now it's a hammer on the other. So all of these things are just like the people you're talking about. All these different parts of the whole. You see, we are these different innovations that come out of the necessity, the ether of necessity. And if we forget that we're commodifying ourselves as nature, then we start to run that risk of separating ourselves and no longer having that synergy that allows us to perform these impossible tasks where once we needed to now we're having to outsource and find elsewhere. We as a community used to be able to sustain ourselves. So now we have issues of logistics and, communication
Mm-hmm.
that hinder us from being able to be this cohesive system that we knew how to be once upon a time. I'll land it there without getting too far along, 'cause that's a great point I can make.
You know what? No, you're making good points, and I'm recounting something you said in our last podcast that is applicable to what you just brought out. The Wiz, when Michael Jackson sang that song that the Crows made him sing, "You can't win, you can't get out of the game." Well, whatever we are taking away from our original purpose, and we get into another game, and we try so hard to fix what we see is wrong with that game, but that game is not to be fixed. That game is to be played exactly the way that it's set up. And no, you can't win. You can't. What I forgot what the other one is, but you can't get out of the game. What
You
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 can't
can't
get
break
out
even.
of the
He said you can't
exact.
win, you can't break even, and you can't get out of the game. People keep saying that things are changing, but their look is just the same. They're staying the same. You can win, but you're in over your head, and you got yourself to blame. You can't win, child, and you can't break even, and you can't get out of the.
Yes, yes. And that is true when instead of making sure that our air, water, land, food supply, and other things that we need in order to thrive are working for our benefit, we somehow shelve that and pursue the prize, the bag, exclusively, where our thoughts all the time. How can I get ahead? How can I thrive? How can I live the life of luxury? I want the luxurious life. I want the glamorous life. I want the glitz. I want the bling. I want to, you know what? I don't even want to be glamorous and luxurious. I just want the fame. Well, this one, they say, oh, I don't even want the fame. I just want to be secure. I just want to know that from day to day, I'm going to have my needs met and I'll have enough to pay. And the buck stops there most of the times because we forget the power that was bestowed upon us, which is tied up in the core principles of stewardship, which means we're trustees over a great responsibility in an expanse, which is called this planet. Did you know, and this is a real thing, that the other creatures that live on this planet, along with us, they know that we are their protectors? Did you know that the other creatures that live here already aware of the position that we've been given? They recognize us perpetually because they were named by the first creation of us. They know something that we seem to have never known, never tried to know, someone never tried to teach us, or we forgot. And that is when something is going horribly wrong, look to the stewards, because they're the ones who are supposed to have everything in hand and supposed to know what to do when things are out of control. When things are off kilter and off balance, it's not negotiations on the international stage for nothing when people go there and they argue and bicker back and forth and they don't get anything done. But there's acid rain coming from the sky, having an effect on everything beneath it. The soil, the shrubs, trees, the things that we eat, the fruits, the berries, the vegetables, having an effect on our health. Why? Anybody ever noticed in the sky or heard anybody talk about these trails up there? They're up there. Some of them are the color of clouds and they expand out, but they're not clouds. Those things stay up there for hours and they just spread out over a vast expanse till you can't see them anymore, but they're still there. What do you think comes down in the rain? And what is that stuff anyway? Anybody ever ask about that? Anybody ever say, hey, what in the hell is that up there? And why every time an aircraft goes by, we see that stuff up there? What is that? Have more than just a handful of groups of people gone to the people who have been elected to make sure of certain things? Have more than just a handful of groups of people decided that we need to find out what that stuff is, why it's up there, and if it ain't no good, which we may think that it's not because nobody's saying that it's good for anything, we need to get this to stop. Could that be a cause? It's a rhetorical question. Some people who have breathing problems. Some people who have cognitive issues. To some people who have eyesight issues. Do stewards turn a blind eye and a deaf ear when things that they are entrusted with the keeping of and the custody of and the chain of title of are going haywire, out of control? Do they just walk away and get busy with other things? Or are we all going to have to give account one day for what we decided we weren't going to do and we weren't going to try to find out, and that we replaced with other pursuits rather than the one that was the most important for the perpetual generations to come after us? The core principles of stewardship I have sent out, like I said in the notices, read them, go over them. And for those of us who are in the blind community, I myself am one, we have our technology that can read that to us so that we can listen. I think all of us from all communities need to become familiar with these core principles of stewardship because they are that important. Because right now, the creatures that are under our protection, a lot of them are being poached, slaughtered, violently killed. For what? Skins, luxury, glamour, glitz. Oh, is that fox? Oh, or is that rabbit? Oh, you got mink. Wow, how much did that cost you? Well, my darling, you know, they had to make the coat so many inches long and so wide to wrap around me, and they're all custom made. So it probably took them about maybe 100 or so of those animals to create this. So you know it's a pretty pity, my dear. Really? 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 But what are we talking about? How much? Where? I don't agree with that. Your lifestyle shouldn't be your lifestyle. You shouldn't do that. You need permission to do this. Oh, well, you're going through that, and I don't want to hear what you're going through because I don't understand it anyway. But if you don't want to support your family, that's on you. All of these things going on like a whirlwind affecting everybody, having everybody under stress and trauma. But we got a beautiful planet here with things that help us to be calm, things that help us to thrive, things that extend our life beyond what we might be told to take by lab coats. And it's not about religion. It's not about religion at all. It's about a gift that we've been given. that has been crying out to the stewards saying, do something about this. Your home is in danger. Do you know that they have planet destroying ordinances? Do you know that those things can turn this planet off its axis? I don't know if anybody knows what a big deal that is, but think about it this way. People know that a basketball bounces. But what does a basketball do when it's kicked? It bounces and it rolls, bounces and rolls, skips, bounces and rolls. There's no consistency to it. And guess what? It's just going all off in a different direction. It's not contained where it needs to be. If a planet is thrown off its axis, it is in danger of going into another object because it is not contained within the area that it was supposed to be. Now, if we really want to operate in power, then we have to pick up the mantle that we were given. We have to carry the suit. We have to carry the identity of who we are. We have to operate that way. We have to be concerned about where we are. Where do we live? Where have we been planted? What has been put here for us? What are the resources? Are we maintaining these? I'll tell you, listen, I'll tell you like this. I was surprised to hear that the deer, Bambi and family, are now in Branchwood Park. And I'm not talking about maybe one or two every now and then. No, they're in the park. Guess who else is in there? The foxes are in there too. The rabbits are in there too. In the park. You can drive through now and you can see them in the grass fields. Why? Because where they stay has been bulldozed and converted into places where they put all of these luxury homes. Imagine this. You leave your home one day, you go out with your family. Say, hey, we're going to have an outing. Let's go out. You go out, travel, see some sights, you get some exercise, have some cool, refreshing drinks, you have something to eat. Say, that was a great day. It's a good outing. Come on, let's go back home. You go home, and your home ain't there no more. And you know that it's where your home should be because you're familiar with the territory. You're even familiar with the landscape and the aroma. But it ain't home no more because it's been turned into something else. And everything that was familiar is not there the way that it was before. So you have to migrate now. Got to move. All the earth is torn up. There's new structures there. And you just left that morning and came back. And now you got to find somewhere else. How difficult would it be to find some place that's safe, that you know is okay because you've been there for so long, but that is no longer available. So now you got to move to somewhere else and be very, very observant under stress because you don't know this new area. You don't know what is there, who is there, and what reactions will come. Have no idea. Well, now, all of the forest creatures started moving into the parks within the city. In the city. They used to stay far away from here because we had our place and they had theirs. And we would go to their place and we would be visitors. And we would respect nature because it was beautiful, calming, refreshing, helped to ground us. It's tranquil. We could think, get away from all the horns and all the noise and all the people and just being jammed up. You had someplace finally to go and just exhale. Well, it seems that those who are supposed to be protecting the forestry, those who have been elected as officials to make sure that those places are maintained and kept and not converted, seem to be not concerned with those. What's going to happen? Are they going to go and hunt them now? Round them up and take them away? To where? To where?
This, particularly when it comes to the law firms and the DOJ.
We
He, in my estimation, has had
must keep in mind the core principles of our stewardship, not our bickering with one another. Because at the end of it all, if something were to go horribly, disastrously wrong, it affects every single one of us. And who wants to have that on their shoulders? Because we couldn't put away the small foxes, the minor things, the things to distract us from our true power principles, while somebody else came and just started tearing stuff up. But we were distracted, fighting with each other, arguing with each other, killing each other. For what? For what? Now, I'm not down on anybody for what may have happened or what they may have done. That's not my place. I ain't judging nobody. But what I am saying, and please, please hear me out. We got bigger fish to fry than these suggestions that are put out for us to entertain. Take a look around. Really, take a look around. Look at the water. Those of us that can see it, look at it. All the crude oil in it. Yeah, oil leaks. Did they clean them up? No. And all the natural things in there to filter those things out, people are eating on their dinner plates. Tires, bottles, cans, sludge, waste, dumped Where? In the water. How come they didn't dig holes in the ground and set fire to it like they used to in order to purify, burn it, cut down the trees? Less trees, less clean air, less conductivity, less habitat for creatures that use them. Where do they go now? And then eventually, where do we go? Luxury homes, 2 and 3 bedrooms. Yeah, it's only going to cost you 1.2, 1.5, 2.1 million. Mm-hmm. It ain't no bigger than some townhomes. And if a strong enough wind comes by, it's going to blow them away just like the big bad wolf did with the 3 little pigs. But we at each other, try to show up each other, one up each other. Well, I guess I tell you what, if the rock that we live on can't sustain us no more, we ain't got to worry about that. But I think we need to take a very good look at what's really real. Because in this game, your opponent is playing for keeps. And like it's been said, some men have no reason for doing what they do. They just want to see the world burn. No reason. Just because they can. Because the stewards, the trustees, are asleep. Therefore, it can happen. We're not paying attention to what we need to pay attention to. We're paying attention to what we want to pay attention to. We make time for the things that we want to engage in, but we don't make time for the things that we necessarily need to engage with. That's on us. That's on us. So the choice is ours. We want to have a place to be. We want a place that's sustainable and rich in abundance of resources for our future generations? Or do we want to leave them with a place that's barren, hostile, barely life sustaining, and depressing? It's up to us. It's up to us. We're the stewards. So, Focus, you want to add anything to this? Yes, indeed.
Oh boy. I just want to say, I mean, at the end of the day, there's a lot to be said here, when it comes to our stewardship and us dropping the ball on a lot of things. People forgot about the ozone layer, you know, deforestation, or all sorts of different places, the neglect of populations and the exploitation of others. It's a dirty game out here, so it's hard for us to really manage when we're being, how you can say, undermined in so many perspectives, in so many aspects. So, if I can go through the tenets here real quickly that you put up there, let me pull it up, we can go over them one by one here.
All right.
So first you have the core tenets: responsibility is given to men and women, right? Then the core duties of responsibility are to manage, care for, and protect. This responsibility extends to the planet's resources, environment, and all living things. This duty is performed on behalf of the divine creator, whatever perspective you might have on that, the divine owner, if you will, right? The purpose of the
Mm-hmm.
stewardship is for the creator's glory. It's to give thanks to its existence at all, to our existence to begin with. And then the last one is in addition, the purpose is for the benefit of all creation, which explicitly includes future generations, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
with that being said, there's very succinct ways that we can begin to synergize, you know, and the points are written here for you to utilize. I mean, I can paraphrase, but that's really all it takes is read each one of these and kind of put it into your own language. Responsibility is given to men and women. It's like share the load. We're like a beehive, or the bees and the ants and the squirrels in the valley, in the prairie. You know, we all got our own little clique, little set, little crew, little situation going on, and one of these days I might need to go over here to this tree and climb up it to get away from, some other you know, uh, I guess I'm about to say person, but that's, some other animal in the system, right? Because at the end of the day, nature is dog eat dog, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not the greatest analogy when we're talking about humanity and our ability to overcome those animalistic tendencies. That's kind of the
Right.
point of humanity. It's to
Mm-hmm.
deter, it's to defer from the animal. It's to put yourself in the position of the other to say, well, like for example, last night I'm playing Sorry, and you have a choice to when you pick a Sorry to either trade places with someone or just come out of your home place, right? Your starting place, and
Mm-hmm.
you could that's the game. It's do I bump someone because I see them as a threat because I want to win. When the first person makes it into the end and sorry, it's game over. But in life,
Uh-huh.
that's not the way it is. When the first person makes it somewhere, it's like that should open the door for others, that should inspire others, that should teach others, it should show, it should guide others to say, well, look at what they did right there with that. Like I saw a long time ago, they used to do this thing for Halloween where the all the players, a lot of them would like get makeup, get this prosthetic like makeup to look scary, and I forget what it was called, like the gridiron something, I don't know. But it was cool. It
Mm-hmm.
happened in like the 90s somewhere. And then, it was
Right.
like these guys don't just play football, they represent a brand. So, they have to come and listen, guys, all sports is a charity. You have to know that. Sports stuff is
Yeah.
charity. Even though you go
Yeah.
and pay for their merchandise, that's all charity. Even
This
though these
line is
guys,
now on hold.
oopsie daisy. Uh-oh. I think the host got dropped.
Welcome to Grown Folk Talking. Express yourself. The podcast will begin momentarily.
Please announce yourself.
Maintaining. That's right, maintaining where we are.
It's like, who told you you could just throw trash on the ground for somebody to come behind you to clean? So part of it is this mindset of superiority
Right.
that, we're better and we're not, and in life we have to find that balance, to think highly of ourselves and yet not think we're better than somebody else. And it takes a skill to find that balance. But if we are stewarding our time, our resources, our talents, our money, our everything that we have, if we're being good stewards of it, then it's the beginning of the healing that needs to take place, between people, between us and the land. Mother Earth cries every day with the things that we do to her. And so we cut down the forest so the animals lose their homes, and then we want to kill the animals because now they've come into the suburbs and the urban areas. Like, hello, you put them out of their homes, and it's the same thing with human beings. We evict people, we foreclose on their homes, and we put them in the streets, and then we complain that they are loitering in our communities. Well, for every boarded up home, what if the resources were put into fixing up boarded up homes and letting those people who are displaced live in the homes? Because what purpose is a boarded up home? And why are we building luxury homes? I look at where I live. I mean, there's plenty of differences in all the sizes of the homes, but I look at the homes that were built where I live in Huntington, Long Island. The homes that were built when Huntington was being developed, they're small homes. Some of them have as many as 3 bedrooms, but there are some that are 1 and 2 bedrooms. They're like cottages. They're like cute little places. And yet now everybody wants to have, 4 and 5 bedrooms and 4.5 bathrooms and, more space than you can use. When I look on the street is cluttered with cars. Used to be 1 car to the family, maybe 2. Now, there's 5 and 6 cars. On the block where I grew up, half of the people have dug up their front lawn and cemented it or blacktopped it so they can park their cars. So then there's no more grass, there's no more of that cycle that God created for the water, the dew, as you say, fresh air. It's all lost.
Yeah.
It's lost. And I don't know, God allowed us to develop technology, gave us the brain power to come up with all kinds of things to make the world better, if I could say that. But have we made the world better with them? I don't think so. We're filled with disease because we don't work the land. We don't put our hands in the dirt. We don't walk barefoot in the grass. We're filled with disease. Why? We're walking on asphalt.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's a lot. It's a lot. It's heavy. It's heavy.
Some of us don't even have grass to walk on.
Yeah, the question is, what can we do? How can we turn it around? Because if we don't, we are all, headed to a bad place.
Well, that's a good question, Ms. Carol. And what I would like to do is I would like to ask somebody to give a suggestion. Doesn't have to be a complete suggestion, but what's one thing that we could be mindful of, have conversations about, maybe even take a little action? What's one thing that we could do?
I would say one thing, Marcus, is to recycle.
Okay.
I look at my children, the next generation. They're quick to just throw the bottles, cans in the garbage. Like, can't you put that in that bin over there? Like, it's not going to take nothing off you to throw it in the bin instead of putting it in the garbage. This is your world, because presumably I'll leave here before you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I could go with that. Recycling is a thing that may help us to be able to reuse or reclassify some things for other use, especially not in the oceans. I mean, straws and other plastics that have been found lodged into the nostrils of certain aquatic animals. You know, just I mean, you don't know. You don't know. But I'll tell you how wild this side of things is. And we did a walk on the wild side on Monday. But let me tell you how wild this got. And I had never ever heard of anything like this before in my life. It was a sea turtle in distress. It had a bunch of straws stuck in its nostrils, so it couldn't actually take in any oxygen while it was swimming. They don't take in oxygen through their mouth, not like us. And it was caught up in some kind of plastic something or another that had a bunch of other trash or metals and stuff all meshed into it. And the sea turtle had gotten cut from some of these metals and these sharp objects in this thing that was wrapped around its body. So it was in distress. Do you know a shark came, carried that sea turtle in its mouth up to a boat, lifted up out of the water, and spit the sea turtle onto the deck of the boat, went back in the water and swam away. Now tell me that they don't know where to go when something is in crisis. Who's got the responsibility? They know. We don't. Well, we act like we don't. We're looking for, well, who's going to do something about it? How about the man in the mirror? How about the people in the mirror? How about the collective hive of people? All of our minds working together, our brains synergizing with ideas, not waiting for somebody who gives us red tape and hoops to jump through and bells and whistles like a circus tent. When we're serious about what we have here. Recycling is one thing. Keep a lot of straws out of the noses and of places in our aquatic life out of their gills. These take campaigns, but not campaigns like we think. Just a collective of people saying we're tired of this. And we're going to speak to this. And if those people who we speak to are not going to support us in this, then we don't need their support because there's more of us than there are of them, and we're going to move on it anyway. We can leverage, but we've got to operate from a point of power. And our power is not in fighting with each other. That's not where our point of power is. Our power is collectively moving together. Now, if there are those that don't want to do it, fine, they stay off to the side. You put sentries there to make sure that they don't interfere. Nehemiah did that when he rebuilt the walls of Jerusalem to keep those hecklers and those who would try to do something to the people construction and fixing that wall from being hurt and attacked by those who were just heckling and just didn't want to see him succeed. You always keep your sentries out there. You always put a line out there and say, okay, you crossed this line and you tried to, you're going to get dealt with. But we're going to continue to work. It all takes planning, but we have the mind to do it. We have the power to do it. It's already here in us. We don't have to wait for permission. We don't have to wait for other people to come to our aid. We already got it. I know some of us like to go to the beach, like to get in the water. But you don't want to get in the water that's filled with crude oil, fecal matter, other solid waste, stuff that people didn't eat and they dumped into the water that's floating and being carried by the waves and not going anywhere because there's no filters, there's no oysters, there's no clams, there's no mussels, there's no mollusks, there's no lobster, there's no crab, there's no shrimp. You didn't know? They clean that stuff up. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. They were put there to clean it up.
Permission to speak.
You got the floor.
I wanted to speak to going back to what Carol said. It's all about the willing. We've been conditioned to look at what another person is or not doing, and then we speak to it. Some levels of this complaining, but these are the things that pull us further away from our own intent and consciousness. You know, so it doesn't matter what another person does. It's what we do. And it basically is that simple, you know, because just a little bit of effort from one individual, and there's more individuals than just that one doing it. That's what changes the dynamics of an environment, you know. Yes, animals, mammals, or whatever you want to call it, the example you gave about the shark really speaks volumes, considering that he's a pure predator, you know, and he has compassion and mercy. So it's more so, it goes back to the individual. Like it says, if it's going to be, it's up to me. It doesn't matter, because a lot of people are looking and watching. So if they see you do good things or honorable things, then that might inspire them. You know, but if it doesn't, you did your part, which is most important. You did your part. So, and going back to what we were speaking, which I was speaking on when you're talking about real estate, an individual could buy a house from a tax lien, fix it up to specs, and then let homeless people live in there just like what you're speaking to, and of course not charge them anything, and then write off your expenses on your rent for you helping out society. Because there is a so-called clause in real estate that is, I forgot what it's called. It's something like not urban renewal. I don't really want to say the word renewal because that's just like tearing down houses in a neighborhood and putting up a new houses. No, but it's something like urban renewal.
Speaking of a life estate, where you allow
Say it again?
somebody, it's called a life estate. Buddy Holly had one. Remember the singer Buddy Holly?
No, I'm not familiar with it. Say it again?
All right. A life estate. It's in real estate. It's called a life estate, where you can actually stay somewhere. You're not charged rent, but in exchange for staying there, you're a steward of that property.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, but either way, the greater reality is that individual that actually owns that house, they still could claim those credits back by filing that, and it's not a loss because you're benefiting society. Especially considering I'm not into politics, but I will say the last regime that was in office, he let all of those individuals in this country, gave them food stamps and places to stay. Some companies that was in position to assist veterans, especially injured veterans, and those veterans lived in houses and apartments. Now, their obligation was to pay their rent. Now, if they happen to be late, or even if they were on time but just not early enough, they would evict them and put them homeless people in there, or should I say those so-called refugees in there, because they could charge the federal government more money in rent than what that veteran was paying in rent. So it's still a tax write-off for your credits, is basically what I'm speaking to. If you let a homeless person live in there and assist them with their healing to become so-called beneficial people again. I'd rather say people than citizens. But anyway, yeah, that it would be very honorable and considerate. And again, there's no injury to the individual that owns the house because there's no financial loss. It's actually an increase. But then you could charge what you want to charge. Say that individual only has money to charge to pay. Just say, for example, you got a 3-bedroom house and you got 3 tenants. They could probably only pay maybe $1 a week or $50 a week or whatever. But my point is, you could write it off as, say, the prevailing is $350 a week to stay in a house in a decent neighborhood. That's what you would write off on as credit for yourself.
Yes.
That's all I want to speak to. I yield.
Yes, and you are accurate on that. Yes, you are. You can do that. There's all types of resources. There's all types of things that we may not be aware of. But when we walk in power with the stewardship that's given us as trustees, look at just the information that we exchange right here between us. Now, just imagine if we get with other like-minded people, all of the information that goes around the network that we create to collect and what we can do with that. So we need nobody else to give us permission. We give ourselves permission to make meaningful advancements for everybody to benefit from. Anybody else? Floor is open. Floor is open. All right. Want to thank everybody for tuning in with us this evening on the Xtra-Hype Connection. And we bring it to you as real as we can. And then, of course, we have our times when we have our fun. But we thank you for coming in with us. I want to thank everybody for listening. I want to thank those who gave input. I really, really do appreciate it. We really appreciate all of you. And we want you to come back with us, but we also want you to also carry this message with you. You don't have to stand on the soapbox. You don't have to stand at the podium. You don't have to chase anybody down with it, but carry this message with you. Maybe every now and again, give it an out. You know, just a mention here and there. Maybe what you heard. Maybe you heard it here. Hey, I heard this over here. You know, it was an interesting conversation. Yeah, you have some interesting conversations over there. Hey, you might want to tune in. Here's a number. Or, hey, if you're on your computer, join on the web. Carry this message with you. Every now and then, give it an honorable mention. You don't have to go crazy with it, but every now and then, because each one can reach one. And so on, and so on, and so on. And at this time, my podcasters, I'm glad that you're on with us. If you can, if you're in a position to, we'd like for you to just announce your podcast on the network. We'd love for you to do that if you're in a position to. If not, then we'll go ahead and put it out there for you as well, and then make our summations here. So any podcasters, if you would like to announce your podcast show on this network, please feel free. You got the floor.
Thank you for the opportunity, Marcus. This is Carol Lucille again, and I host the Pink Sofa Talk every Tuesday evening at 7:30. First and third Tuesdays are ladies only. Second and fourth, and if there's a fifth, gentlemen are welcome to join us. Thank you. And
Thank you,
I also host the prayer call every morning at 7 a.m. All are welcome. Dr. in a good way.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. 7 a.m. is the prayer call. It's a great way to start the day. Really positive. Tune right in 7 a.m., everybody, at the Pink Sofa, Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. right here on the network. Any other podcasters, you got a show, you want to mention your show, honorable mention, please feel free. You got the floor.
Yes, I'm Edward. My show is on every Friday at 8 p.m., which is definitely right after this show. And the name of the show is Thine Will Be Done. I'd just like to emphasize on the greater reality of it's thine will, which is your will. We create our own days with our own intent in our minds. Thine will be done, 8 p.m. every Friday. Thank us.
Yes, indeed. Thank us, Brother Edward. And Brother Edward's show will be tonight, directly following this podcast at 8 p.m. So once we clear the lines, everybody, please call right back in or come back in on the web link, which is huddle.team/grownfolk. And you can catch us right there on the web and listen in as well. Participate. Are there any other podcasters on the line that want to announce your show on this network? Anyone else? All right.
Well, I'm not a podcaster, but I have a question for Carol Lucille. Tuesday is the 30th, right? Isn't Tuesday the 30th of September?
Tuesday. Yes.
Okay, so there's going to be a pink sofa for everybody?
Correct.
Okay, and then the following Tuesday, the first Tuesday, will be women only. But
Correct.
then aren't next month aren't the second and third Tuesday for both?
Well, next month,
Mm-hmm.
um, next month I was going to flip the third and fourth week, but I just had a cancellation on the event that was supposed to happen. So
Oh, okay.
so we'll see because I've
Oh,
already
okay.
put it out there that men could, it could be on the third week. So yes, um, we'll figure that out as we go.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank everybody else. Thank you all for being on with us this evening. I'm just going to quickly run through tomorrow's lineup. At 7 a.m., once again, Miss Carol Lucille, who you've heard her lovely, melodious voice on this line, host the prayer call at 7 a.m. tomorrow. Please, a positive way to start your day. Tune in if you're up early in the morning. Call into the same number you called here, 520-525-8633, or join in on the web at huddle.team/grownfolk to join us for the prayer call at 7 a.m. And tomorrow at 12 noon, you will have the lovely Your Highness bringing you Actualizer. She'll be on tomorrow. She has a very, very, very good command of that podcast. You'll definitely enjoy it. I'm quite sure you will. At 4 p.m., we have Mama Mahasana, the Soul Liberator. That's right. Come on in at 4 p.m. Enjoy Mama Mahasana and see how your soul is liberated. Plenty of information and wealth of knowledge she has there. So tune in with her. Also opportunities. So tune in with her. At 6 p.m., our CEO Far Nance will be on the Grown Folk Talking podcast with a special guest. And I'm not sure, but 8 p.m., we may have a special show tomorrow, but that will be forthcoming tomorrow. So as far as we have 7 a.m., 12 noon, 4 p.m., and 6 p.m. tomorrow for certain sure. And as customary and as usual, I'm turning it over now to my man, co-host of the Xtra-Hype Connection, FloFokuz. You got the last word, brother, and take us out of here.
Well, wow. I just want to say thanks everyone for showing up tonight, sharing, and just listening in. Sorry about the technical difficulties. I might have gotten cut off, but no big deal. Because at the end of the day, if I can say the bees don't pay the flowers to access the nectar. The trees don't charge the dwellers to seek shelter. It's all a cohesive system. It's built by necessity, it's innovated by care, and it's driven by protection for the future to utilize. And we're all to blame for dropping the ball. So we're also all responsible for picking it back up. And at the end of the day, that's what the Extra Hype community is all about. That's what Prologic Strategies, the even the Alpha Pack. That's what we're here to do. To pick up the ball where some have dropped it and to continue the tradition of stewardship for ourselves, the less able to help them become more capable, and the future there and after. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, and you guys can show up to us again here on Monday and Friday, every Monday and Friday, 6 p.m. right here. Monday we do From Poverty to Prosperity. And Fridays we do Cooler Talk. And don't forget about the fifth Friday in every month where we do the Flip Side Friday event. But share us all of your joy, all of your sorrows at thelogicstrategies.com. Feel free to join the website or just leave me a chat and we can figure out how we can communicate there. But guys, I just want to say, remember, we love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us, and thank you to our new listeners. We appreciate you all.
Good night.
Good night.